I mean, I would say that without failure, there's no success. So it's two sides of a coin. So I think generally speaking, when you look at people who've been very successful and you kind of peel the onion, you'll find that there were a lot of failures along the ways. And without those failures, those successes wouldn't have happened. Now we are probably better off where we learn not from our mistakes, but from other people's mistakes. And if we can do that, then it's a lot less painful, right? But the nature of life is that our own mistakes get seared in deeper, and the lessons get seared in deeper. So in general, it is more difficult to learn from Warren or Charlie's mistakes and sear it in than it is from our own mistakes and sear that in. One of the things, I think Charlie says we're old too soon and wise too late. Last year, for example, for when I first started investing in the mid 90s, I was trying to find these businesses with these long runways and, set it and forget it type of thing, like what Buffett had done with Coke or Amex and so on. And I found a bunch of those and I did really well. But then 99, 2000, the dot-com bubble was getting pretty intense. And I was very concerned. And so I switched to Ben Graham, looking at businesses which were not necessarily great businesses, but they were very cheap. And there was downside protection. You could make some money, kind of what Peter Thiel is saying not to do, And that did really well. I think from 99, probably, if I had been smart enough to switch around 2012 or 2014, that would have been great. But I got so used to doing that, finding these bargains. It's a very natural, comfortable place to be. Then I realized last year when I was studying, there's a book called Richer, Wiser, Happier, which came out earlier this year. It's a great book. And chapter 6 is on Nick Sleep, who's in London and who's done really well as an investor. In fact, I think if you Google Nick Sleep, you can pull up his letters. They're well worth reading. And I realized that Nick had done really well by identifying some great long runways and then just leaving things alone, no activity. So when he shut down his fund, he had 3 stocks he put all his money in: Berkshire, Costco, and Amazon. And I think he's outperformed pretty much anyone else, no matter what they were doing, because Amazon's just done so well since then. And so I realized that actually I needed to go back to the engine, which is buying these great compounders. And I started to make my journey back. So I would say one of the things, if I could fix it, is that I shouldn't have abandoned the compounders as early as I did. I remember in 2002, I was taking a class at Harvard Business School, and we were doing a case on Amazon, and it was a case on Joy Covey, who was Amazon's CFO. Joy has actually unfortunately passed away. She had a biking accident, but wonderful lady. But this case was about her. She was the CFO at Amazon. And I was so impressed with Joy, and I was so impressed with someone like Jeff who would hire someone like Joy. And at that time, Amazon stock had collapsed. It had collapsed down to $10 a share. And I put 10% of my fund at the time in Amazon at $10 a share. And very quickly it got to 14 and I moved on. Okay. Very dumb. Okay. There can't be things that are more dumber than that. And that's like a 330x that got blown away. And I remember at that time I was managing about maybe 70, 80 million. So maybe even if 5 million went into Amazon at $10, 300 times 5 million is $1.5 billion. It wouldn't have mattered what happened to anything else, but we live and learn. And so life goes on, life is great.